For those people who don't know me, Devin the Dream Haney. After a hard workout, I always make sure I take my pro-glycogen. Great for recovery. Recovery is a big part of training, and take your pro-glycogen, you'll feel much better.
I thought it was a good performance. I thought it was an intriguing fight. I don't think it was necessarily the war that we thought we might get, but there was at times. I thought it was a very high-class fight, high-level fight between two elite fighters. I thought Danny had a relatively poor first half of the fight, and I thought that he won the back end of the fight. I scored it 115, 113, and I think he'll kick himself a little bit, but it's easy to say, you know, if he would have tried to be a little bit more aggressive in the fight. He took some big shots, you know, and so did Canelo, and they both showed a great chin. I think it's something that him and Andre will talk about. I see him moving to 168. I think he's had a brilliant run at 160. And obviously now with the landscape, with Canelo potentially fighting Triple G if that happens, and Demetrius waiting in the wings with the undisputed fight, I think the time is right for Danny to move up to the 168 division now. I think it'll be a new challenge. I think he'll be a different monster there as well. And if that's what his team decides, I think that'll be a wise move. No, 115, 113 is, you know, if I score it 115, 113, then you can have it 116, 112, you can have it a draw, but the right man won the fight. I think that's the general consensus. Sorry? For sure, it was a fight that every fight fan would have just paid $100 for, or $90 on a regular pay-per-view platform. And tonight they got it part of the monthly schedule, or they bought an annual pass for the same price. It's giving them 100 fight nights a year. You know, coming up, we've got a show next Friday. You've got the World Boxing Super Series. You've got the heavyweight debut of Alexander Usyk against Carlos Takam. You've got the American debut of the unified heavyweight world champion Anthony Joshua against Andy Ruiz. You've got the return of Gennady Golovkin. You know, you've got the defense of the WBA world champion Demetrius Andrade, and that's just till the end of June. That's not including the MLB, that's not including, like I said, the World Boxing Super Series, the Bellator event. So, you know, if you spent tonight the normal price of one pay-per-view, congratulations, you've just got 1 year of the zone. And in that same year, you're going to see fights like Canelo against Triple G and, you know, Joshua against Usyk, potentially Joshua against Wilder. So the value is incredible. And, you know, when the David Lemieux fight fell through, I wouldn't have been offended if Eric and Robert told me that John Ryder was off the card. So I want to thank them for keeping him on. And also, you know, they gave one of their fighters a big opportunity tonight, but it was a great performance from John Ryder.
Joshua will come for his fight?
Sorry?
How much in advance will Joshua come for his fight, as long as you're here?
He arrives on Sunday in New York. He stays in New York on Sunday night. He does a whole lot of media on Monday, and he leaves on Tuesday to Miami to finish off his training camp.
Check, is this on? Okay.
Hey, Eric, what's your thoughts on what happens with Canelo next? I mean, this was a convincing victory over Jacobs. A rematch is not necessarily needed. And Golovkin's going to probably be there after Steve rolls.
I mean, he's in a great position. He's in a great position. I mean, he's the king right now. We're going to do... I lost my voice, Bill, sorry. I lost my voice. You know, we're going to do what we always do with Canelo, which is, you know, we get together, Oscar and I, Roberto Diaz, we get together with the team and with his team, and we look at all the top guys. You know, one of the fights that Canelo's told us that he would love to do, is Callum Smith. And I think, you know, Eddie knows some people at Wembley Stadium there. So that would be a great event there. So, you know, the sky's the limit. You know, he said it himself after the fight. He wants to fight all the top fights, whatever the fans want, whatever the biggest challenge is. If it's a Golovkin fight, then we're going to sit down and we'll talk about that. But he's in a great position right now. Very few fighters get to enjoy a position Anthony Joshua's in the same position. They can pick and choose who they want to fight.
This one's for Eddie Hearn. With a lot of talent with the zone at the 160-pound division, you could say that for Danny Jacobs, there's a lot of great matchups to be made, you know, talking about a round robin. And at 168, a lot of PVC guys and politics getting in the way, with only Callum Smith, the matchroom guy, being a champion. As much as it would be great to see at 168 Danny fighting, is 160 still probably a more realistic option as far as making fights happen that he wants to have?
No, I think that, you know, when you look at the landscape, you have two PBC guys who are world champions at 168, one matchroom guy, and I believe the WBO title has become vacant for a gift for Billy Joe Saunders next week. So, you know, I wouldn't say it's a division controlled by the PBC. They have two world champions. You know, we'd love to make the David Benavidez fight with Callum Smith. I think that's a great fight. We'd love to make the Canelo fight with Callum Smith. You know, that's an opportunity for Canelo to move up and win the Ring Magazine Championship at 168 pounds as well as the 160 that he holds. So I think Callum's in a good position. You're going to see him on June the 1st at Madison Square Garden. We'll announce that next week. And I just think that, having spoken to Danny backstage, and he'll be up here now, I think the answer he'll give you is that he has to move.
Thank you.
So we hear Canelo's 2 minutes away, 2 minutos. First of all, let me just say that what a wonderful weekend. What a beautiful weekend for Cinco de Mayo. Felicidades a todos. Feliz cinco. Is it already 12 midnight? No. Felicidades 5 de Mayo. Gracias por todo el apoyo que todos los medios nos dan. Todos los medios de México, gracias. Fue la verdad que algo muy especial, increíble, y ganó nuestro campeón en una pelea cerrada, una pelea bien difícil, como decíamos, pero ganó. Así que ahora para la próxima, obviamente ahora hay que descansar y analizar el futuro, pero ahora hay que celebrar el 5 de mayo. I just said in Spanish, sí, claro. I just said gracias. I just said in Spanish that, you know, happy Cinco de Mayo. And thank you very much to all the media who just makes this possible. Without you guys, we wouldn't have the wonderful stories and the message to subscribe to the Zone. The Zone is taking over. It's taking over boxing. And we are very, very pleased and happy that all you writers have been sending that wonderful message. Canelo's 2 minutes away, and it was a wonderful fight. Jacobs is an amazing competitor. He's an amazing champion. We all said it was going to be very difficult and tough. You know, I had Canelo winning by 2-3 points. Maybe one draw. One of the rounds was a draw, tie. But Jacobs is just, I mean, I told you guys, he is a warrior. So we're very pleased with everything, and we thank you, the media who makes it possible, who sends that message out to the consumer. And we proved tonight once again with Eddie Hearn, with The Zone, with Golden Boy that you know, this is boxing's destination for a very long time, The Zone. Any questions? 2 more minutes.
Sorry if I have you guys wait. I was trying to use the restroom. I couldn't do it for Bada. I got to go back and watch this performance. I didn't feel my best. Even though I did it, I felt as if I did enough to get the victory, especially with the conversations that I had with my cornermen. I mean, I know it was back and forth action, but it was really, for me, it was really kind of early on, it was really hard to get the rhythm of Canelo. And I felt once I got the rhythm, then I started to push him back, and then it became a really, really competitive fight. I'm just hoping that you guys enjoyed the fight. This was, for me, a great experience being a part of such a big event as this. It doesn't get any higher than this, and I'm just grateful to have this opportunity to please all the fans that tuned in and everyone that showed up tonight. Canelo is a warrior, obviously, and for me, I just have to go back to the drawing boards and see what I can do better. But it's questionable for me if I'm going to stay in the middleweight division because it is taking a toll on my body and it's showing. I might have outgrown the middleweight division and I might take my talents to super middleweight. We'll see. Talk to my team. But for the most part, I thought I did enough to win. And once I go back to see this fight on the replay, I'll be able to give a better assessment. But I just thank everybody for being super supportive and all the media for hyping the fight up. This was definitely, hopefully it lived up to the hype. But I sure enough gave everything that I thought I could. Man, it was a great experience. I just love to go in there and give a great showing of boxing. And I had a perfect opponent, a perfect contender to go inside there and battle with me to give you guys a great show. So thank you guys very much. This will not be the end of me. I'm sure you guys see me soon. Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Jacobs, Cameron Buford here, LA News Observer. I got a question. You kind of touched on it about the weight there. I was going to add in your preparation.
The weight clause didn't play into my mind at all. I knew it was a sacrifice that I had to take because the 10-day weigh-in for me was just a lot. And just me rehydrating with water, I shot up to 170. That was just water alone. So I know that my body definitely needed to rehydrate. And I definitely needed to put a little bit more in my system. So that was a sacrifice that I took. Me and my team came up with the plan that would be the best decision for me to go in there and give my all and not be more depleted than what we already was. I'm a naturally big guy, and I might have just overgrown the middleweight division, but man, I'm extremely happy. Like, this is, for me, a dream come true still. Win, lose, or draw, I was able to perform at the highest level, and it's very humbling. The opportunities that I've had that obviously didn't present itself due to my past. And now that I have all these tremendous people, hopefully I gain a couple fans as well, but now that I have all these tremendous people backing me, I mean, I still think that I have a career that should be thriving after this because super middleweight division is still jam-packed, and we'll see what happens.
Danny, here in front to your left. Two questions for you. Was there anything in the first 4 or 5 rounds where you lost those rounds that Canelo was doing that was causing you trouble? And then secondly, when you hit him with the left hook in the 9th round, were you surprised that he was able to take it as well as he did and get himself out of danger so quickly?
You know, everything happened kind of so fast. I don't believe that I lost the first 5 rounds. I did think that it took maybe 2 to 3 rounds for me to get his rhythm. And I thought he would be a little bit more active than what he was, but he's a strong force. Even though I'm the bigger guy, you can tell, you know, he was there to fight. We both was banging. We both was landing. And it's just one of those things that you can go back and forth with, you know, the judging style or, you know, how you gauge an actual fight. I can wish, all the thing I can do is go back to the tapes and actually make my assessment on it, but I can't do that right now because it's just right after the fight.
Danny, straight in front of you. I was like your thoughts about Canelo Alvarez's defense. I mean, he's known more or less as an offensive-minded fighter. Tonight, he seemed his defense was extremely strong. According to the CompuBox stats, you only landed 20% of your punches. That's obviously a little lower than you probably would have liked. Can you talk to me about what you thought of his defense tonight?
Well, it was definitely a little tricky. I mean, I've always known Canelo had great upper body movement, and that's exactly what he had, and that's what he displayed. I've been vocal about that, you know, this whole press tour about his upper body movement is exceptionally well. I knew what we were facing, but I just thought that I did enough just to kind of tweak it out in my mind. and especially from the conversations we had in the corner. But I take my hats off to him. I'm not one of those guys who, even in a close decision, you know, I still tip my hat off to the man facing the ring, facing me across the ring, because it takes a true champion to get inside the ring with anybody at this level.
Jacob, do you think was necessary or help you the change of guards that you did? Or you think it was a mistake? Because we see when you did that, Canelo was hitting you better. And the second question is, do you surprise that Canelo take your best shot?
All right, let me get to your first question first. I wasn't surprised that he was able to take some pretty good shots. And I don't know, like I said, I don't really remember the fight to be able to answer your first question, but I do think that I was very effective in my southpaw stance. I wanted to trade a little bit more, but his timing was really good as far as knowing when to punch and when to kind of back off. So for me, it's just really about going back to the drawing boards and seeing what I can do better. Thank you.